שברחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שברחים גם יחד. Numbers are in brackets. Yeah, la 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, morei b'ri hagafen, morei b'ri hagafen. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 la. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Tishri. Navi. Eliyahu Hatishbi. Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi.
From taking pictures or videos during the service as well. But just a reminder to everybody that this service is being recorded and it will be available on our platforms afterwards. So, no, wait a minute. I think my microphone is not on, correct? Yes, that's exactly what. Can you hear me? Were you able to hear me? Boy, do I have a big voice or what?
No comment.
Thank you, Dave. That's why I said at the very beginning, thank you to our BOW committee, which is Dave, basically, for helping us. Anyways, I don't have to repeat everything. I think you all heard it. It's wonderful to have you. We will continue together with Sweet as Honey. Sweet as honey. Now you need to turn on.
Sweet as honey. It's like we've never done this.
Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue.
Baruch atah divrei Torah. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Let us soak it up and let it all sink in. Sweet words of Torah. Let us soak it up, let it all sink in. Sweet words of Torah.
Turn to page 392 for Hatzi Kaddish. Is that the right page?
Yes.
Okay.
There we go. 389.
Oh, 389 for the Shavuot reading. I'm sorry. Okay. Now summer's prospect, the world ripening and growing softer, the promise of harvest fulfilled. The warming sun lies before us. Now the vision of Torah, the world at peace and growing gentler. The promise of goodness fulfilled. The loving heart lies open to the mind.
יתקדש שמי רבה, ועמד יברח ירצה וימליך מלכותי. בך יכונו ויאמרו חיים כל בית ישראל. בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך, יתברך וישבח, יתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל. שמי קדושה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירה מלכה, ואמרו אמן.
Please follow along in the reading on page 399. Sinai was only the beginning. The Torah has never ceased to grow. In every age it has been purified and enlarged. It has a perimeter, core, and expanding periphery. It expands as the horizon of our vision grows. Nor are God's revelations confined to Israel. God has been the inspiration of the greatest and good among all families of the earth. God's love and guidance reach out to all the world.
The traditions of Judaism can sometimes be stricter and require a certain lifestyle that can be difficult in modern day. A good example of this is the rules of kosher. Keeping kosher is a very old tradition that Jewish people follow. Growing up, my Bubby and Papa's house was completely kosher. I'm talking separate silverware and washing dishes separately. On the flip side, my house was simply no pork and no shellfish. These two ways to keep kosher, modern versus traditional, have gone back and forth in my head for years. These were not the only ways my Bubby and Papa's more traditional Judaism differed from my family's. My family's Judaism centered around busy lives and major holidays, but my Bubby and Papa go to Shabbat services every Friday night and every Saturday. They centered their busy lives around Judaism. This is something I felt very drawn to. I recognized that Judaism was a large part of my life, and it could be bigger. A modern Jewish lifestyle allows us to steer away from tradition and expand the boundaries of what defines Jew. As someone who's been part of more traditional and more modern Judaism, I've struggled with knowing which I prefer, which eventually leads to the question, how Jewish am I? Am I Jewish enough? And what I realized is, while you can ask your rabbi or your Bubby or your parents, nobody's answer will satisfy you, because their definition of what it means to be Jewish is always going to be different from yours. This is a product of a very important Reform teaching, choice through knowledge. Gaining knowledge and learning about all the different aspects of Judaism and the different ways to be Jewish allows for you to take that knowledge and shape your own individual Jewish life. I have witnessed how the traditions of Judaism can pave the path towards more modern ideas. My favorite example of this is our relationship with God, our roots, and ethnicity. A very important piece of Judaism is how we question and debate and think about our own teachings. It is one of the most important aspects of living an individual life, and in more modern days, that can look vastly different from person to person. You can go to services every Friday and Saturday, and you are a Jew. You can connect deeply with our people's history and traditions, but steer away from the spiritual aspect if it doesn't speak to you, and you are still a Jew. You can sit in a room with a group of Jewish friends who all live their Jewish lives differently, and ask, what is God? And do you believe in God? And you are still just as Jewish as everybody else in the room. This is the most important lesson that I have learned during my confirmation journey. Only you can define your Judaism and how you integrate it into your life. Nobody else can do it for you. So this is how I choose to live my Jewish life. I choose to ask questions, try different things, to wrestle with the meaning of God, to follow the traditions and the spirituality, but still ask why. I choose to continue learning and growing and changing the definition of my Judaism.
Go to page 400. Turn to page 400.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בהם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Okay, turn to page 404. All this world we hold to be true and trustworthy for us. You alone are our God, and we are Israel, your people. You are our sovereign and Savior, who delivers us from oppression's hands, who delivers us from tyrants' fists. You work wonders without number, marvels beyond count. You give us life and steady our footsteps. You perform miracles for us before Pharaoh, signs and wonders in the land of the Egyptians. You led your people, Israel, from their midst of freedom for all time. When your children witnessed your dominance, they praised your name in gratitude, and they accepted your sovereignty. Moses, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices joyously. Over the past year, we have been defining our Jewish values and how we stand up for those values. Every Wednesday night, we would talk about Jewish beliefs and stories and what we thought about them and how it related into our lives. We also learned about current issues and how we define our Jewish values and stand up to them. We had several guest speakers come in and talk to us about gun control, abortion laws, voting rights, anti-Semitism, the environment, immigration rights, and LGBT rights. Not only did we learn about these important topics, but we talked about how we viewed these issues through a Jewish lens. One topic we learned about was...
Your words are amazing, Shoshana. Can you just slow down a little bit?
Sorry.
Because we want to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Just keep going.
Okay, I'll go slower. Okay. One topic we learned about was Medicaid expansion. Healthcare is really important to have, but if your work doesn't provide it, it can be very expensive. If you have to pay for healthcare yourself, it can be thousands of dollars a month. That's obviously not possible for lots of people, so the Affordable Care Act was created. The Affordable Care Act made it so anyone that makes less than 400% of the poverty level can qualify for a subsidy. If you make very little income, you qualify. You qualify for Medicaid. But there's a gap caused by a mistake in the law that causes some people to not qualify for either. They make too much for Medicaid and too little to go on the federal exchange. Roughly 150,000 Kansans fall under this gap. And not only does this leave thousands of families that can't access health care, more than $500 million that should come into our state each year doesn't. This lack of funding has caused hospitals to close or be at risk of closing. Jewish tradition teaches that it's everyone's responsibility to see the health of the community, and Medicaid expansion would help ensure everyone has access to what they need, which is a Jewish value. Every issue we talked about and went over is important and relevant in our lives today, but an issue that's top of mind right now is reproductive rights. Access to abortion in Kansas is top of mind right now, Jewish law teaches that sometimes abortion is necessary in order to save the life of the mother. We learned that if you had to choose, the life of the mother is more important than the unborn child. If the constitutional amendment on the ballot in August passes, it will hurt freedom of religion for Jewish people. Making sure Jewish voices are part of the political conversation is helping protect our freedom to make decisions based on our own religious beliefs. It's hard to believe that this is the end of my formal Jewish education. I started learning about the holidays in kindergarten, and now I'm learning about political issues through a Jewish understanding. Not only is it helpful to understand these issues as a Jewish person, but it's helpful to know there's a whole community that approaches the topics in the same way. Thank you to Rabbi Monica and Rabbi Katapan for supporting and helping us to understand important issues today.
Please turn to page 406 for Micha Mocha.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדב בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדב בקודש.
Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. Ve'haviteinu shomreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
Being a Jewish adult in the 21st century is not always easy, but it is important that we face the challenges and persevere. Confirmation is a time to look back and acknowledge my Jewish education at Beth Torah and look into the future at what lies ahead for me as a young Jewish adult in America. I appreciate all of those who have played a part in helping me prepare for that future through their devotion to providing a quality Jewish education to me and my fellow confirmands. We owe a debt of gratitude to the teachers and administrators of Beth Torah, thank you. As Jews, the world my fellow confirmands and I are entering will continue to challenge our commitment to our faith and heritage. We have seen during our formative years both national and local expressions of hatred towards Jews, not to mention the many smaller yet insidious anti-Semitic comments and actions that take place in our daily lives. We know of the murderous attack of the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, the March on Charlottesville, and the tragic shootings at our very own Jewish Community Center and Village Shalom. We know of the countless jokes, put-downs, and outrageous false statements about Jews that have been made in social media and within the walls of our local schools. We have all known the feeling of being uncomfortable as Jews in a world dominated by non-Jews. Who else among us has ever felt uncomfortable in social settings during Christmas or Easter, or felt uncomfortable not wanting to eat a pepperoni pizza with friends at a birthday party? Who has been uncomfortable telling others about their B'nai Mitzvah, their missing school for high holiday service, or eating matzah during Passover? And who among us has heard the malicious accusation about the Jews killing Jesus, or the misinformed statement about Jews having horns or having big noses? Who among us has heard that Jews are in control of Hollywood, that Jews run and manipulate the market and the economy, or that Jews have access to space technology? Yes, it can be tough being Jewish in the 21st century, but of course, our education has taught us that this is not a new phenomenon. We are all aware of how Jews have been picked on, mistreated, discriminated against, and singled out as scapegoats throughout history. We have been displaced, limited, and murdered just for being Jewish. Our generation must find strength from the knowledge that generation after generation of Jews have faced hatred and adversity and fought back, remained steadfast and proud. They have carried forward our traditions, protected our most sacred institutions and values, and provided us with the opportunity to say that I am Jewish, and I am proud to live my life, both as a Jew and as an American, and as a global citizen committed to my faith, my family, my fellow human beings, and to my planet. Thank you to my family, and thank you, Beth Torah.
Beautiful.
Turn to page 468.
Adonai, Sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevii Gula Livnei Bnehem, L'ma'an Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Be'ezerat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye metim atah Rav lehoshia, Morit hatal, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye metim berachamim rabim, Somek nofelim verofek cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Micha mocha גבוהות, ומיתו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים.
Turn to page 478. You have chosen us in love and favor by making us holy through your mitzvot and drawing us to close to your service, that through us your great and holy name may become known in all the earth. In your love, Adonai, our God, you have given us Shabbat of rest, for feasts of gladness and seasons of joy, this Shabbat day and this festival of Pesach.
Please follow along on page 481. Many generations later, redeemed from slavery, Abraham and Sarah's descendants stood on Mount Sinai. The ancient promise was to be confirmed, the ancient mandate reasserted and enlarged, the ancient covenant renewed and sealed to bind all future generations. When God revealed the Torah, no bird chirped, no fowl beat its wings, no ox bellowed, the angels did not sing, the sea did not stir, no creature uttered a sound, the world was silent and still, and the divine voice spoke, I, the Eternal, am your God. Page 488.
We take now a moment for our own silent thoughts and prayers. You may use the words in your siddur or whatever you are carrying in your heart on this festival evening. And when you have finished your prayer, I invite you to return to your seat.
During Jewish festivals, 3 pilgrimage festivals, of which Shavuot is one of them, we recite Hallel, and we're going to do a very short 1-page Hallel this evening. If you're able, please stand as we join together in reciting the blessings before Hallel. Baruch Ata Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu likro et hallel. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of all, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to recite hymns of praise. Service continue with the service for the reading of the Torah. I would like to invite Noreen and Elaine to join us on the bima, and invite all our confirmation class to join us as we continue with Ein Kamocha on page 494.
Ein kamocha Elohim Adonai, ve'en kemasecha. מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני
מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. אהבה רחמים, היטיבה ברצונך את ציון, תבנה חומת ירושלים, תבנה חומות ירושלים, כי בך לבד בטחנו, מלך אל רם ונישא, אדון עולמים. כי מציון תצא תורה, כי מציון תצא תורה,
ודבר אדוני מירושלים, ברוך שנתן תורה, ברוך שנתן תורה, לעמו ישראל בקדושתו.
שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד, אחד אלוהינו, גדול אדוננו, קדוש שמו. גדלו לאדוני איתי, ונרוממה שמו יחדיו. The reading for the Torah for Shavuot is from the book of Exodus, chapter 20. We will be reading what is normally known as the 10 commandments, but in Hebrew they're actually called the 10 utterances, because if you remember what they say, the first two, there are no commandments. It says, I am Adonai, your God, who led you out of Egypt. And that's it. That's not a commandment. That's why in the Jewish tradition, we're sticklers for good terminology, so we call it the 10 utterances. And the tradition started probably about 1,500 years or so, that on this particular festival, we would read this text. The festival of Shavuot, which I feel, and I think with good reason, has been neglected by most of us, except, so I know I was talking this morning, ask any person, any child to sing you a Shavuot song. No, right? Anything, nothing. It's Torah, 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 silence, But as you saw when our confirmands entered, they brought offerings. In the Torah, this holiday is also called Chag Abikurim, the festival of the first offerings of all the offerings. That's why we're doing that. But it has an agricultural component, and then it has a historical component, which is the giving of the Torah at Mount Sinai. And that's our centerpiece today. And we will have our confirmands read from the scroll. And we will begin with the first Aliyah. Now, I just want to mention, you have a program with all the names there, and everybody who's participating in the service today are teachers, mentors, people who meant something to the education of the Jewish education of our confirmands. So we like to honor them that way. I would like to invite Rabbi Kleiman to join us, and our first Torah reader is Shoshana, so they can get ready for the first Aliyah. And if you would like to follow the reading, it's on page 539 in the red book that you may have in front of you. And for the blessings, you can find those on page 368. Those are the Torah blessings. For the first Aliyah, I would like to invite Zach Swivelman. Ya'amod l'Aliyah harishona.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher bachar banu min kol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
You got this right. The Elohim.
Okay, where am I starting it? Right here. Okay. V'daber Elohim et kol hadvarim ha'ele lemor anochi avon.
Adonai.
Oh, this. Okay. Adonai Elohecha asher hotzeticha ma'eretz Mitzrayim mebeit avodim lo Adonai lecha Elohim acherim al pani lo ha ta'aseha lecha se'al Rechol Hatmuna Asher B'Shamayim Ma'amimal Ve'asher Be'eretz Mitachat Ve'asher B'mayim Mitachat Le'eretz Lo Tishtacha Reva Lahem Velo Ha'ardim Chol Ki Anechi Adonai Elohecha Al Pani Kana Poke An Avon Avot Al Vanim Al Shalashim Va'al Rebanim Lisanai Ve'aseh Chased Le'afim Le'ohava.
Yeah.
Ve'ul Shamrai Ve'mitzvot Lo Hasa Eight Shem Adonai Elohecha Lashav Kol Ki Lo Yenake Adonai Et Asher Yisat Et Shimo Lasher.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Get some on the other side. We'd like to invite our second Torah reader, Bella. And for the second Aliyah, we'd like to invite the confirmation class parents. Ya'amadu la'aliyah ha'shniyah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Zachor et Yom HaShabbat L'Karusho Sheshet Yamim Ta'avod Ya'asita Chol Ma'alechetecha Ve'yom HaShvi'i Shabbat Le'Adonai Elohecha Lo Ta'aseh Chol Melacha Ata Ve'vincha Uvitecha Avdecha Ve'amtecha Uvhemtecha Ve'gercha Asher Be'bisharecha Ki Sheshet Yamim Asa Adonai Et Hashema ve'at haaretz et hayam ve'at kol asher bam ve'yana bayom hashvi'i al ken berach Adonai et yom hashabat ve'kadshehu kabed et avicha ve'et amecha leman ya'arichun yamecha al ha'adama asher Adonai Elohecha noten lach lo tirtza lo tinaf lo tagnov lo ta'ano bereach ad shakar lo tachmod beit reach lo tachmod ashet reach ve'avdo ve'amto ve'moro ve'chomro ve'chol ashar l'reacha.
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam natav b'tocheinu, baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
And before everybody's folks leave, I just want to say thank you to all of you for your flexibility this year. Obviously this year, whatever we planned this year needed to be changed. So kol kavod to everybody for their flexibility and going with the flow.
As we gather on this festival, we turn our thoughts to those in need of healing. Those of you joining us virtually, you may have access to the Misheberach listed in the e-news that you received yesterday, and you can also follow the link in the comments. If you like to type names, please go ahead and do that in the comments. For those of you here in person, we invite you to share names as I go around the sanctuary on this side. Our thoughts turn to those in need of healing. Together, we join our voices in singing the Mi Sheberach prayer.
Mi sheberach avoteinu, Avraham, Yitzchak, ve'Yaakov. Mi sheberach imoteinu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, ve'Rachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, 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 and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Misheberach Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, veYaakov. Misheberach Imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, veRachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer,
Hear our prayer.
hear our prayer,
Hear our prayer.
hear our prayer,
Hear our prayer.
hear our prayer, and bless us as well.
Service continues on page 510 with Vezot HaTorah. I would like to invite Derek and Morgan to join me on the bima. If you're able, please stand. Ya'amdu hamakbiya ve'hagolelet.
Vezot HaTorah אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל. על פי אדוני ביד משה. יאללה
You can go back. We continue together on page 514.
עץ חיים לי למחזיקים בה, ותומכיה מאושר, דרכיה דרכי נועם, וכל נתיבותיה שלום. השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה. קדש, קדש ימינו, קדש ימינו כקדם. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Here's my
before I begin my comments, I want to tell you about one of the worst confirmation charges I ever heard. I won't say when, I won't say where, but the person who gave this charge talked about themselves the whole time. I think what they were trying to say was how proud of the class they were, but nobody left with that feeling. So I don't want this charge to be about me, but I want it to be from me. Your class was the first class I had the immense privilege of seeing through the bar and bat mitzvah process after I arrived here at Beth Torah. I got to know all of you as we spent your 6th and 7th grade years working towards that big day. But for many who walked in the same shoes you did, that was the end of their Jewish engagement. But I am so honored that for us, it was merely just the next step. As I watched each one of you struggle at various points during the process, yes, everyone cries at some point, I promise you, I was impressed throughout all of it for each of your passion for being Jewish. Even if you hadn't practiced that week, or even if you felt nervous about everything that was in front of you, there was never an, I don't want to be Jewish, or an, I don't want to be here. I can't say that for everybody else who's walked through your shoes. Whether you got that spirit from camp, your families, or the community here at Beth Torah, or what I think is most likely a magical combination of all of those things, I knew I could not wait to engage with all of you as we tackled what I've affectionately come to call grown-up Judaism. We all had this groove together. We saw each other on Wednesday nights. Some of you were here on Sunday mornings, and I saw that each of you were ready to take on the world in your own way. You're so passionate about what you care about that I knew confirmation was going to be a place where that flourished. When in a conversation about a difficult topic, whatever it may be, your group never took, well, that's the way it is, for an answer, or even, it's always been this way. You responded with, well, it shouldn't be that way, or that's not right, and you weren't willing to sit idly by. You saw that there was work to be done on this broken world around you. So you guys jumped into action. You raised money for a pet shelter with your Cocoa for Canines fundraiser. You planned and led youth group events for your peers and for younger friends. And we even spent a good number of car rides back and forth together to Independence for some nifty and JYG events. Arlo, remember that night I got on the highway going the wrong way? You were very patient with me, thank you. Each of you is willing to put in the effort and the work that it takes to engage Jewishly with the world around you. And then COVID hit us, all in different ways, and we fell out of that routine, our Wednesday nights and Sunday mornings together. We didn't see each other as regularly as we used to. And the work that we had done previously together, it felt a little tone deaf. It felt like doing those same things wasn't going to cut it. Something was missing. And so as COVID started to wane and we figured out how to get back together, we wanted to share as typical of a year as possible together. And we sort of did. We had planned for a trip to Washington, D.C. with the Religious Action Center of Reform Judaism. So we were set up to study the topics that are at hand on the legislative floor, whether it's the House or the Senate. We kept up with current events. We had speakers come in, and we prepared ourselves for what we thought was going to be the scariest thing possible, being in a room with Kansas Republican senators. We looked at Jewish texts. We tried to read the legalese of these laws and statutes. We figured out how to define our own outlooks on the world. We welcomed guests who encouraged us. So many people told us how wonderful it was to see your generation taking an active interest in the work of politics and our shared future. You asked great questions, you struggled with the answers, and you listened to each other throughout the process. While Topeka may not be the same as Washington, D.C., we still had an amazing time together. The positive messages about our participation in the political process rained down. We met others who were passionate about the same things, and they encouraged us to keep that spark going. You may have noticed when you came in the beautiful poster board picture of all of us. We got to meet Governor Kelly, and as part of our lobbying process, we met the Senate Minority Leader, and as well as spent some time with State Supreme Court Justice Melissa Standridge. So in one day, we met all three branches of government. And here were a few things that came away. Bella, when you talked about the future of Kansas and walking with your feet, everyone heard you. We heard from multiple people that they want to fight to keep Kansas a place where you want to be and where you want to have your future. When you talked, they listened. Arlo, you bring a breath of fresh air to sometimes what seem like stale topics. You so quickly and with your sense of humor identify when things just don't make sense. And you are willing to engage with what a positive solution might look like. And I'm sure you have the skills to help determine how to get to that place each time. Shoshana, your passion for Judaism absolutely radiates in all you do. You bring both a sense of maturity and a sense of fun to everything that we do here. Whether it is pointing out the huge injustices in our world or teaching us all how to make slime. You know how to make being Jewish a fun and engaging thing. So to the three of you, I am so honored to have been part of the beginnings of your Jewish journeys. Whether we were working our way through learning Torah trope together, running around the Kansas State Capitol looking for a lost sweater, or improving our spoken Hebrew by playing with toddler toys, you've demonstrated that you can all bring a sense of fun and lightheartedness to even serious topics. And I'm certain that each of you is going to go out into the world as strong and confident Jewish young people. Each of you has begun to, and I know will continue, to live out the principle, Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor. It is not on you to complete the work of repairing the world, but neither are you free to abstain from it. I am sure that we will never see any of you sitting on the sidelines, but rather you will be right in the middle of whatever it takes to make our world a better place. So it is my honor right now to call up a member of our Board of Trustees, Lauren Aronson, to share some words with our confirmands and make some presentations to them. Get out of the way so they can see you anyway.
Well, it is really my privilege and my pleasure to present the congregational gift to the three of you. You will each be receiving a Tanakh from the congregation, which we hope will be for you a valued resource and a source of comfort as you face the many challenges in the roads ahead as you enter life now as a Jewish adult. We are thrilled to have you here, and in listening to your words and your thoughts and reflections on your feelings as a Jew and as a Jewish adult going forward, you offer all of us great hope for the future, that you will be leading us to better choices and better decisions than sometimes we see in the news today. So thank you for your inspirational words, your reflections, and for all that you will do as you go forward in your life now as young adult Jews.
We'll bring them all over. Right here, how about this? I'll hand you the certificate. And then I'll go to the policy receipt. Right, thank you, Lauren. The presents are not done yet. It is a tradition for the confirmation class to give the congregation a present. So it's my pleasure to call on Bella to tell us what the class has selected to give to Beth Torah in honor of this great simcha.
When we started this process, our class was told to choose a gift for the synagogue, something meaningful but also useful for the congregation. Passover has always been my favorite holiday. It's a time where my whole family gets together and we celebrate and enjoy each other's company. So when Rabbi Monica said that the synagogue needed items for a Seder, I felt that was a fitting gift. Our gift includes some of the main items we need for Passover Seder: a Seder plate, matzah cover, afikomen cover, Elijah cup, and Miriam cup. We hope that Beth Torah will use these for many years to host wonderful Seders for our synagogue community. As you leave, you can take a look at them on display in the Ulam.
Thank you. Big, wonderful gifts. We actually had our first in-person Seder in many years this past year, so we already have plans for next year, and so we'll use them within the year, not even the year, just a few more months, and we'll. I know. We have to go through high holidays first. I understand this, but Pesach is just around the corner. We continue our service with Aleinu Leshabech. If you're able, please stand and join us, page 586.
Aleinu לשבח לדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
As we prepare for our moment of remembrance, I invite you to turn to page 595. יש כוכבים שאורם מגיע ארצה, רק כאשר הם עצמם עבדו ואינם. They are stars up above, so far away we only see their light, long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest nights, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways that we remember. We remember the victims of the mass shootings in Buffalo, New York, Uvalde, Texas, and in so many other cities and towns in our nation. We are observing the Shloshim period for Tony Ross, brother and brother-in-law of Jeff and Gail Ross. And today, we mark the yortzites of the following members of our congregation: Saul F. Cantor, Irvin K., Sarah Lee Optican, Ruth Ronai, Theodore Willoughby. Zichronam livracha, may the memories be for a blessing. As a congregation, we rise on page 598 to recite Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחי חון וביום חון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו, לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דא אמירם בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו
It's time for some announcements. I would like to invite Aviva Simons, Director of Member Engagement for our congregation. Aviva.
This is Aviva's song. The announcements are coming, they won't take too long. If you want to do some Jewish, she won't steer you wrong. This is Aviva's song.
Shavuot Tov! Thank you to everyone who made this service possible. Mazel Tov to Shoshana, Arlo, Bella, and Gabriel and Stella. What a wonderful evening to be together, and it is about to get even sweeter. So, following this service, all are welcome to join us outside the front doors for freezing moo rolled ice cream. If you happen to be vegan or dairy-free, we ask that you go to the line first, so that then we can have all of the dairy and there will be no concerns. So if you are vegan or dairy-free, please go to the line first. And just a quick announcement, 1 week from tonight, right now, we will be in the backyard having our inaugural barbecue bash. So join us for barbecue and food and games and music. It will be wonderful. All are welcomed completely free. There is an RSVP link online just so we have a sense of the numbers, but everyone is welcome and we cannot wait. With that, Mazel Tov, and let's go eat some ice cream.
I hear all you singing out there. It's not too early to start thinking about the High Holy Day Choir. Just saying. Shockingly not too early to start thinking about the High Holy Day Choir.
As we conclude our time together, we invite you to stand if you're able and join us in singing Adon Olam on page 625.
Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol Yetzir Nivra, Nehet Nasa, V'chefso Kol, Azai Melech, Shemo Nikra, Ve'acharei Kiflot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Torah, Ve'hu Haya, Ve'hu Oved, Ve'hu Yeh, B'tifara. Adon Olam Hashem Malach B'terem Kol Yetzir Nivra, Le'ek Nasa V'chefso Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra, Ve'acharei Kiflot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Torah, Ve'hu Haya, Ve'hu Oved, Ve'hu Yeh, B'tifara. Adon Olam Hashem Malach B'terem Kol Yetzir Nivra, Le'ek Nasa V'chefso Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra, Ve'acharei Kiflot HaKol, בציפורם והוא היה והוא הווה, בציפורם והוא היה והוא הווה, בציפורם אדון עולם.
חג שמח, מזל טוב.
Take care of each other out there.